So last time we heard that the wives of Kaliya said, Nagapatnis, it was rightly done that you have punished him. But it was not really a punishment. It's really your mercy that, and then now in 10 verses, they are praying to the Lord, offering prayers, and in which they express their realizations of who Krsna is. So Krsna is standing before them, 6-7-year-old cowboy, and they are speaking to him. And we continue these prayers today, and we will finish this, and then they will make requests. I went to the commentaries, and I will skip the commentaries that are too deeply philosophical, because difficult to understand, but very beautiful. Text 45, Canto 10, chapter 16, text 45. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nama Krishnaya Ramaya Vasudeva Sutaya Cha Pratyamnaya Niyodaya Sattvatam Pataye Namaha. So Nagapatnis continue. We offer our obeisance to Lord Krishna and Lord Ram, the son of Vasudev, and to Lord Pradyumna and Aniruddha. We offer our respectful obeisance unto the Master of all saintly devotees. They are offering obeisance to him because the Lord is worshipable. And they worship him, or they offer obeisance to the form of the Chatur Murti, that in the verse starting with Nama Krishnaya. So we know the Chatur Murti, you know what it is? Yeah, Vasudev, Pradyumna, the Sankarshan and Aniruddha. So they are obeisance to. So Tura means to Sankarshan, of course, is an expansion of Lord Balaram. Also to the son of Vasudev. The word Vasudev indicates the pure mode of goodness, pure consciousness, pure mode of goodness. To him who manifests in that pure mode of consciousness, in other words, to Vasudev, to the master of the sattvatas, the worshipable, to him who maintains them by giving them saloka, liberation, and so on. But by this we are offering obeisance to you, Lord Krishna, as the Chaturmukhi. The Sanatana Goswami comments. Moreover, although you, Krishna, are one, you manifest fourfold, as they state by the verse Nama Krishnaya, to the master of the sattvatas, the worshippers. By you being the master, it is established that you are one, because otherwise there would be no sense in the statement. In the 5th canto by Sri Lakshmi Devi, Srimad Bhagavatam 5:18-20, there it is said, he alone who is never afraid who is on the contrary gives shelter to all fearful persons, can actually become a husband and protect. Therefore, my lord, you are the only husband, and no one else can claim this position. If you are not the only husband, you would be afraid of others. So he's the full shelter. Text 46. Namo Guna Pradipaya. Namo Guna Pradipaya. Gunatma Chadanaya Cha. Gunavritti Upalakshaya. Gunadraste Svasambhide. Obeisance to you, O Lord, who manifest varieties of material and spiritual qualities. You disguise yourself with the material qualities, and yet the functioning of those same material qualities ultimately reveals your existence. You stand apart from the material qualities as a witness and can be fully known only by your devotees. They say you are disguising yourself to the material qualities, but one who studies material nature can see that you are behind. It's like a curtain, so that's what is set here.
Yeah, very nice.
So we become covered by material qualities and therefore are unable to see. Yet the functioning of those same material qualities ultimately reveals your existence. So it's a little tricky, this sentence. You disguise yourself with the material qualities, and yet the function of the same material qualities ultimately reveals your existence. So clearly, Krsna manifests many material and spiritual qualities. So we will now keep apart, very philosophical. But then the Nagapatnis are addressing the Supreme Lord as he who manifests all material and spiritual qualities, which causes the living entities to be conscious. One can see the Lord by going beyond the screen of material nature, and is therefore called Gunatma Chandanaya. If one methodically and intelligently studies the function of the material qualities, he will ultimately conclude that there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that he exhibits its illusory potency to bewilder those who do not surrender unto him. When one sees the material world, then one can understand clearly that there is an intelligence behind it. There is order, there is intelligence, so there must be some God, and that God must be personal because he has qualities. And now, this is an interesting story of the Upanishad. It's a story of the Upanishad, and there is a young boy, and he asked his teacher, he asked the guru, how can I find God? And the answer of the teacher is very interesting. So the teacher looks at the ground and he sees a feather and picks up the feather and hands it to the student, and he doesn't say anything. He just walks away. So the student is holding this feather and thinks, so he thinks, how am I going to find God by this feather? But the student's faith and intelligence were very deep. They were studying and scrutinizing the feather, and he realized that there is a difference between the feather and me. So he understood he's not matter. That the feather was matter and he was consciousness. So by studying matter, he understood that he was non-material. But of course, our process is more simple. That's chant Hare Krishna, you will realize that this process is the process of the jnanis. That But yes, we see that. But what is Nagapatnis are saying here is all qualities are coming from you, Krishna. That also Kaliya's qualities. Kaliya has the qualities of enviousness and anger, and this is also coming from Krishna. So they are planting the seed for making a request. That's next text 47. That Avyakrita viraya sarvavyakrita siddhaye Rishikesha namaste tu Munaye manasiline. O Lord Rishikesh, master of the senses, please let us offer our obeisances unto you, whose pastimes are inconceivably glorious. Your existence can be inferred from the necessity for a creator and revealer of all cosmic manifestation. But although your devotees can understand you in this way, to the non-devotees you remain silent, absorbed in self-satisfaction. So this last sentence says also that only the devotees can understand you. So you are standing apart from the material qualities of the witness, but you can be fully known by your devotees. That same point will be expanded further. So the Nagapatnis, they prayed and they said, you are called Apyaketa Vihara. Your pastimes are unfathomable. So no one can understand them. Your pastimes are so deep. Text 48. That's the last verse of these prayers. Aravarakate nyaya Sarvadyaksayate Namah Avispaya Savispaya Tatrastresya Sahitave. Obeisance unto you who know the destination of all things, superior and inferior, and who are the presiding regulator of all that be. You are distinct from the universal creation, yet you are the basis upon which the illusion of material creation evolves, and also the witness of this illusion. Indeed, you are the root cause of this entire world. You are the root cause, they say, the Hetave, the root cause of the entire world. Tadraste, you are the witness of such illusion. So they say you are the witness of all illusion. So our husband, Kaliya, you know what's going on because you are the witness of the illusion. You know it. He knows the illusion he has been in. You are also the cause of this illusion. The root cause of everything. Ultimate cause of everything. But you are also distinct from everything. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the Nagapatnis prayed, you know the goal to be attained by a devotee and the non-devotee. You are the superintendent of all results. And thus knowing what is proper, you bestow the results to each according to what they deserve. Though you disperse the fruit of one's karma, you are not bound by karma because you are distinct from others. When it is necessary for you to create this material universe by your Maya Sakti and remain as its overseer, therefore you are the primary cause of the universe, animating it and directing its transformations. So they plant a seed for their request that and the request will come now in the next verse. Ramasya janma stiti samyamam vibho kune aniya kitakala shakti tatat svabhavam patibudayam sata samikshayam moga vihara inasya. Almighty Lord, although you have no reason to become involved in material activity, still you act through your eternal potency of time to arrange for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe. You do this by awakening the distinct functions of each of the modes of nature, which before the creation lie dormant. Simply by your glance, you perfectly execute all these activities of cosmic control in a sporting mood. So these verses are philosophical, and they bring in here the creation that so we will go to the next verse, 49. 49. Oh. We will read the purpose of 49 first. Skeptics may question why the Supreme Lord has created the material world, which is full of birth, maintenance, and death. Here the Nagapatnis point out that the Lord's pastimes are amoga, beyond any discrepancy. Sri Krishna actually desires that all conditioned souls live with him in his eternal kingdom, but those forgetful souls who are inimical to their loving relationship with God must go to the material world and be subjected to the conditions of time. The fortunate conditioned souls are startled into remembrance of their actual position as loving servants of the Lord, and from which the heart, the Lord, and from within the heart, the Lord then encourages them to come back to Godhead, where time is conspicuous by its absence, and where eternal bliss existence supersedes the dramatic but disturbing functions of the cosmic creation and annihilation. So the law in the spiritual world is that Krishna is in the center. And this is practically the only law. And all the rest is spontaneously based on lovingly pleasing Krishna. That is the only law in the spiritual world. You are not allowed in the spiritual world when you don't have this type of loving affection for Krishna. If one does not want to keep his relationship with Krishna, then one is forced to go to the prison house of the material world, where he can work out this problem. And that's the Acharyas. Right? It's Krishna's desire that the soul does not suffer in the material world. It desires to be with them. How long does it take for them to get out of the material world? If they decide to be with Krishna again, then they are taking out practically instantaneously. Katvanga Maharaj is cited as an example of this. He was out in just a moment, just by surrender. Srila Madhvacharya quotes, he comments on this verse. The eternal potency of Lord Hari is known as the time potency because of eternally embodying all material qualities. This internal potency is known as Durga because of the difficulties of achieving our benediction and because of being the cause of the annihilation of everything. Further, he is known as fire because he's giving life to everything. This is understood that Durga and fire identify as the predominators of time. So, this is a quotation from Prakash Samhita. Shastra, we are not familiar with that. Sanatana Goswami says, but it may be objected, this offender should be punished. The Narapatnis reply with 5 verses beginning with Tvam. He is in this sense, or Eva, which means you alone, or the Almighty, O Lord of all, you produce the creation and so on, with the gunas, the mode of passion, etc. Although you are actually free from the endeavor, indifferent to this, you reawaken the modes who were present before this awakening pradhan just by your glance. But it may be questioned, what is the purpose of this glance? Replying to this, it is stated that your pleasure activities are infallible, or in other words, that you always act out of sport, or else knowing is able to disrupt. No one is able to disrupt your play. Your play by awakening the nature of these different modes as stated by the words beginning with Amurga. Because you are the holder of your innate potency of time, since Brahma and others cannot transgress time. Krishna does this spotless and is sinless, free from all contamination, free from false ego, when he makes the material world, and therefore we cannot prescribe the fault of the material world upon him, nor can we ascribe the fact that the living entity suffers as to the Lord's fault. It is Amoga Lila, Amoga Bihar. Jiva Goswami explains this further. But is the fault that on the part of me, Krishna, was given him the status of being a servant? The Narapatnis reply to this in 5 verses beginning with Tvam. He means Eva, almighty controller of all, even without desire for endeavor, although devoid of desire for these different things, you arrange for them. You arrange for the material world, although you don't desire the material world to be present. You arrange in the same way as the king makes arrangement for the prisoners, although he does not desire it. This is replied upon by saying, by glancing upon the Sat, then all your devotees. So that's the real reason why the material world is in existence. That it is in existence for the non-devotees as a prison house. But no one can say that the prison house is for the prisoners to keep them out of the state. In that sense, it's for the prisoners. Here Shiva Goswami says that the real purpose of the prison house of the material world is all of your devotees, by glancing upon the pradhan or the sat, all your devotees were in the state of sadhana in the previous day of Brahma, or else by your glance simply by looking at them to awaken them. This is stated in the Padma Purana, to engage in activities in order to give pleasure to my devotees. This is the implication, is that only coincidentally are the other living entities also awakened. So Shiva Goswami said the creation is there to get all these devotees who have practiced in the past and in previous days of Brahma, in sadhana, to bring them to the spiritual world. Therefore, the creation is taking place, and accidentally all the others are also awakened. That's what he says. No. In other words, Krishna glances at the material world, or he starts the material energy working so that the devotees who are at the states of sadhana, and this is the purpose of the material world, can rise up to the stage of prema. Because until prema is complete, we cannot be in the spiritual world, because that one law is that one rule that allows and disallows entry from the material world in the spiritual world. The rule is that you have to love Krishna, because everyone in the spiritual world loves Krishna. Just imagine how much trouble there would be, and it happens in Krishna's Bama Lila. Krishna is wanting to dance in the rasa dance, and then someone comes along and doesn't follow that law. One has to love Krishna, and Krishna must be the center. And he said, why should the gopis be dancing with Krishna? They should be dancing with me. I want to dance with them. So then you have the whole material world all over again. So if someone actually does that, who did that? Sankatshuda, who said the gopis are meant for me. What happened to Sankatshuda? He was killed by Krishna. So in the material world, everyone is averse to Krishna. But in the material world, there are not only those who are averse to Krishna, there are also those who did not yet develop the qualification to go to the spiritual world. They don't have prema. But they are in the stage of sadhana, practicing. The purpose of the material world is to allow those souls a field of activities when they can develop their love for Krishna, their sadhya. Incidentally, he awakens the other souls who are averse to Krishna. Krishna wants also them back, of course, but he is somewhat neutrally inclined to them. But who is it that knows the purpose of the Lord? That are devotees. Devotees are especially on the Madhyam stage. This is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti's comment, that Krishna asked, what is the purpose in creating the universe, giving it life and transformation? The Nagapatnis answered, simply by glancing upon the material nature after the end of the previous kalpa, you wake up the jivas resting in the pradhan to them previous nature, and then proceed with creation, maintenance, and destruction to three modes of nature, rajas, sattva, and tamas. Though you activate the modes of nature, you are not involved with any material endeavors. All this is brought about through your eternal potency of time. Just by your glance, you execute all these activities in a playful mood. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, what do I accomplish by engaging in creation and enlivening Pradhan by making it subject to transformation? The Narapatni's reply, this is Burichan Prabhu's translation, that is the same as in other translation. He says, by glancing upon Sat, the Pradhan awakening the nature of fearsomeness and so on of the universe, which was manifest in previous ages, but now dissolved. These different natures of the modes being still existing in dormant form, you produce the creation and so on by the mode of passion, because it is an insult to call you the producer of material modes. You are naturally separated from all material endeavors. You are he who beholds the time potency, which is a krita consisting of the moment, while in other parts, in this way, your sporting pastimes of directing your glance upon Pradhan is faultless. So, text 50. Tashevate mustanavaste lokyam santa utamuta chonayam santa piaste hi aduna vittum satam status sate dhamapa paripsaye hata. Translation. Therefore, all material bodies throughout the three worlds, those that are peaceful in the mode of goodness, those that are agitated in the mode of passion, and those that are foolish in the mode of ignorance, are all are your creations. Still, these living entities whose bodies are in the mode of goodness are especially dear to you, and it is to maintain them and protect their religious principles that you are present on the earth. So they are saying you brought this material world into existence for the conditions. So this is your pastime. So why kill this one who is under control of the material nature, their husband? All the material bodies in this world, you brought them into existence. Those who are peaceful in goodness, those who are agitated in passion, those who are foolish in ignorance. All these living entities you brought up in your creation. They are your creation. Still, those living entities whose bodies are in the mode of goodness, they are especially dear to you. And it is to maintain them that you protect their religious principles, that you are now present on the earth. Bhagavad Gita. And Yadaya Dharmasya Glani Bhavda Bhagatyam Vyuttanam Dharmasya Tatatmam Chichamyam. That's the same thing that Siddhar Swami said. All living entities are your creations and are under your protection, although those in the mode of goodness are especially under your protection. Everyone is under your protection. So they are bringing it to the point of asking Krishna, please protect this Kaliya. They are building their case, and in the next verses, 51, 52, 53, they are now making their specific request. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, Krishna inquires, what is the intention of your prayers? Why are you praying like that? The Narapatni's reply, you are the creator of all material bodies throughout the universe. At that time of creation, you awaken the bad qualities within the non-devotees. So how it is possible for Kaliya to give up his cruel nature on his own? That all bodies in the creation are created by you. We see that the living entities would take to devotion are dear to you. You are present on earth to maintain your devotees and help them uphold their religious principles. Now, We will hear the request now. 51, 52. Apparada sakritpatra sodapyasva pachakrita shantamarasi santatam mudasyatvam ajanatam. At least once, a master should tolerate an offense committed by his child or subject, O supreme peaceful soul. You should therefore forgive our foolish old husband, who did not understand who you are. Next verse. Anukrishnivstva bhagavam pranam sriyati panaga strinam nasadusojyamam pati prana patiyatam. O Supreme Lord, please be merciful. It is proper for the saintly to feel compassion for women like us. This serpent is about to give up his life. Please give us back our husband, who is our life and soul. So they are saying, if you are not willing to be merciful to him, be at least merciful to us. They say, be merciful to him. He did not understand who you are. He's in ignorance. Please be merciful to him once. If you don't want to be merciful to him, then be merciful to us, your devotees, because without our husband, we will not be able to maintain our lives. And now they make their final request. I go first to it, and then we come back. We hear the entire request. 53. Videyate kingarinam anusteyam tapaknayam yatshadayam tishtan vai muchate sabako bayat. Now please tell us, your maidservants, what we should do. Certainly anyone who faithfully executes your order is automatically freed from all fear. So the request is, what should we do now? So it said, do whatever you want, and then we won't be afraid. And Krishna will quickly tell them hereafter what to do. So we can go to these verses again and hear some of the comments that so 51. So back to 51. We will hear the comment first of Srila Vishwanath Bhakti Thakur. Short one. You should tolerate once the offense of Kaliya has committed against your devotees. Having been taught a lesson by you, if Kaliya again harasses your devotees, you are not obliged to forgive him. Twice they asked Krishna to forgive Kaliya. To express their fervent state, Krishna is addressed as Santa, peaceful, because that is the cause of forgiveness. Because Kaliya is foolish, without knowledge, is qualified for forgiveness. So one must have peacefulness in one's soul before one can forgive another. That's interesting. So then in text 2, if you don't want to forgive him directly, forgive him for our sake. O Supreme Lord, please show mercy. Anu Shenishva Bhagavan. O Bhagavan, please be merciful. Give him your mercy. It is proper for the saintly to feel compassion for women. So this serpent is going to give up his life. We are to be pitied. Women like us have to be shown compassion by sadhus. He's our husband, he's our life, so please give us back our life by giving back our husband. So that is what they say. Is our life and soul. So text 52, comment by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I have diagnosed this disease and given the treatment. It's now cured, but in order to wipe out the remnants of the disease, I must stamp on his head 7 or 8 times more. You should permit this. That's what Krsna says. And then by giving him this strong medicine of punishment, so more mercy to purify him of all fault. He may die, for he has already come to the stage of departing his body. What does it matter? Krsna says, what does it matter if he gives up his snake body? What can he do with this body? Better than that he gets a spiritual body as my devotee. Then Narapatnis, if we beautiful women become widows, we will be engaged by force to enjoy with another sinful snake. But Kaliya has now become a Vaishnava and has become our very life an object of affection. So that's beautiful commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yeah. So in text 53, so says yeah, they make their plea, don't kill him. So we are afraid from losing him, because then we will be unprotected and we will get ourselves into trouble. So please tell us what to do, and we will do whatever you say. And if we faithfully execute your orders, all our fears will be gone. So we are begging for this one thing. We are surrendered unto you. So Vishwanath. So Krsna says, then take your husband, I'm giving. But I make this order which you must follow. And then Narapatni says, yes, we will follow. Give us the order. This order is revealed in a later verse. Of course, we know the order. You know the order? Krsna says, you must leave the Yamuna. That go away to your island, your original place where you come from. So that will be later. So all this talk that you should be merciful to him, they say yes, is in a snake body. And you are the creator of the modes and you impelled him in that sense. Even if you have no fault, you have some part into it, they say. For him to control his nature and stop acting like such envious snake, you are the creator. Please be merciful. So then what can we do? You are the creator, the controller of the creation. So now text 54 is another part of the prayers, but we can keep that for next time. And I was thinking, you asked think you have asked me about Kaliya in his previous life. Maybe I should tell about his previous life. We know what happened. So this is mentioned in the Garga Samhita. It tells about the birth of this demon and his previous life. After many births, even the great yogis cannot attain the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna. And Krishna placed his lotus feet directly on Kaliya's head. What pious deeds did Kali do in his previous birth? I wish to know that. So I don't know who is speaking that, but it's to Narada, and Narada Muni will reply. And it's quite a sad story. Narada Muni said, in ancient times during Swayambhuva Manvantar, so that is, we are going back here to the beginning of this day of Brahma. That's a long time ago. So it was in the first Manu. So in the day of Brahma, there are 74 Manus. So it was the first. The first Manu, the beginning of creation, a sage named Vedasira Muni, a descendant of Brihu, performed austerities in the Vindhya hills. Was performing austerities, this sage. His name was Vedasira. So one day a sage, Asvasira, another sage, and one day a sage, Asvasira Muni, came to perform austerities at the sage's ashram, with red eyes staring at his guest. Vedasir angrily spoke. So Vedasir saw this guest coming, that Asvasir. He came to his ashram to perform their austerities. But Vedasir angrily spoke, O Brahman, don't perform austerities in my ashram. O sage, whose wealth is austerity, is there no other place where you can happily perform austerities? Of course, that's not a very nice welcome. So when this Asvasira Muni heard Vedasira's words, Asvasira became angry, and with red eyes he said, O best of sages, this place belongs to Lord Mahavishnu. It does not belong to you or me. Everything belongs to Mahavishnu. If not, many sages already perform great austerities. You are angry for no reason. You hiss if you were a snake, so become a snake. You will be terrified of Garuda. So he cursed him. He cursed Vedasira to become a snake, and he will be terrified of Garuda. So that is Kaliya. But Vedasira said, "Who, for such a slight offense, you took a great revenge. On this earth, you are like a crow. Become a crow." So they cursed each other. And then Lord Vishnu appeared and consulted two sages who are now unhappy with their curses. And Lord Vishnu said, "You are both equally devoted to me, O sages. You are like the two arms of my body. O sages, I can make my own words false, but I do not wish to allow the words of my devotees to become false. This is my vow. So they are both devotees, and they both cursed each other. Krishna said, I do not want to nullify it. O Vedasir, I will place my footprints on your head, Kaliya. Because of this, you will never fear Garuda. So that is what happened. Yeah, that is what happened. And Ashvashira, please do not lament. You will have the form of a crow, but you will have transcendental knowledge and all yoga siddhis, and the highest knowledge in the three worlds. So after speaking these words, Lord Vishnu departed, and Ashvashira became a crow that at Mount Lila, and he was devoted to Lord Ramachandra. He was very powerful. He was a lamp shining, explaining the meaning of all scriptures. To Garuda, he recited Ramayana. So we have incarnations of stages in bird species. So this is the story of Kaliya. He was a great sage. This is coming from the Garika Samhita. There is Kaliya's previous life is explained. So, any questions? What did you learn today? Past time so far.
All these pastimes are for us to learn.
Yeah, they are forced to learn. But although they are real, they happen. Yeah, there's a lot of comments here. Let me go a little further, still some time. Okay, text 54. Shishuka vacha itam sanagapatni bir bhagavan samabhistuta uchitam bhaknashira sam visar sankre kutanai. Sukadeva Goswami said, thus praised by the Nagapatnis. The Supreme Personality of Godhead released the serpent Kaliya, who had fallen unconscious. His head battered by the striking of the Lord's lotus feet. So, this is another point here from the prayers of the wives of Kaliya. They said, your punishment in dealing with your enemies and your sons are the same, that we heard before. Nectar of Devotion says that even if your enemy is qualified, you reward him. And if your son is a culprit, you chastise him. But, so what was the example of a son being a culprit of Krishna? When his sons, which sons did he punish? The question is that they say to Krishna, they said before, if your own son is a culprit, does something wrong, you will punish him. And if a demon develops good qualities and tries to become a devotee, you will reward him. So what is the example of Krishna punishing his own son? Hare Krishna. We discussed that. What was his name? Baumasur, Narakasur. Yeah. So Krishna there killed his own son. That Narakasur. Narakasur was, his father was Varahadev, who lifted the earth and impregnated her. And that was Baumasur. And later he got the name Narakasur, because he had a hellish mentality. That, so in Nectar of Devotion, it said, one enemy of Krishna was very enlivened with the thought that he doesn't need to fear Krishna if he just surrenders unto him. Then Krishna will give him all protection. So this is our Krishna we worship. He's so wonderful. So there was a conversation between Giriraj Maharaj, Satsvarup Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada about Kaliya. Srila Prabhupada was talking how Krishna related with Kaliya. He said that he was just like a doctor. There is a surgical operation and the knife is being used on his body, which means that he's going to get relief. So he was like a doctor operating on Kaliya, taking away his false ego. Giriraj Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, is that benefit is coming from all suffering or only if it is given by Krishna? Srila Prabhupada said, when it is given by Krishna, not coming from the suffering. Therefore, a devotee doesn't take it serious. He thinks it's the benediction of Krishna, the suffering. So you don't see suffering as suffering. Srila Prabhupada said, karma is different. Karma is like a criminal. A criminal is given a slap by the police, and when the father slaps you. These are two different things. The materialist, the non-devotee, they are getting the slap of the police, and the devotee is getting the slap of the father. So what is the difference? Kaliya's got heavy punishment, but his wife saved him because they were devotees. So he got that mercy of being made a devotee by Krishna's chastisement. He didn't kill Kaliya. It's probably the only demon he didn't kill. Any other demon he killed, but Kaliya is spared. That was quite remarkable. And why did he spare him? Because perhaps his wife were devotees and he reformed him. And then Kaliya actually understood he was repentant. So.
Okay, so the devotees are very good and they are praying for others.
Yeah, the purport here. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Lord Krishna, upon reaching his decision, immediately jumped down from Kaliya's foot and stood before the serpent and his wives. We should remember that when Lord Krishna executed these pastimes, he was just a young village boy in Vrindavan. Text 55. That's Patila Bendayapana Kaliya Sanakerarim Kitshrat Samupasandina Krishnam Prakitanjali. Kaliya slowly regained his vital force and sensory functions. Then breathing loudly and painfully, the poor serpent addressed Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in humble submission. So because his whole body was suffering from pain, with difficulty Kaliya folded his hands, but he could not bow down on the ground. 55. So all along, Sanatana Goswami is explaining in an alternate explanation that Kaliya was ecstatically embracing Krishna. So he has an explanation for this verse as well. He says, Krishna released Kaliya, and he said, by being released, the dispelling of the trance of ecstasy ended, and he regained the functions of his senses. And he took away, in the meantime, the contamination of false pride. So Sanatana Goswami has a complete different perspective on this Lila. There was an ecstatic relationship between Kaliya and Krishna going on here. Finally, Kaliya had been released of his trance of ecstasy. Of course, externally it looks quite different. He's vomiting blood, poison, he's broken, and all these things. Third comment. Because his whole body was suffering pain with difficulty, Kaliya folded his hands, but he could not bow down on the ground. So Kaliya could not throw himself down because he was too much in pain. So he was unconscious from ecstatic love. But now he will offer prayers which are very similar to his wife's, because he doesn't know much about Krishna consciousness. So he will just repeat what his wife said. Yes. So Kaliya will speak now. Kaliya uvacha payam kala sahutpatya tamasa drishamanyava svabhavodustayo nata lokanam yathasatraha. The serpent Kaliya said, our very birth as a snake has made us envious, ignorant, and constantly angry. Oh my Lord, it is so difficult for people to give up their conditioned nature, by which they identify with what is unreal. So Kaliya said, I was thinking I was a snake, but actually I was your servant. That is my real identity. So we are thinking that we are so many things, but actually we are Krishna's servant. The purport. Srila Sanatana Goswami points out that because of his wretched condition, Kaliya was unable to compose original prayers to the Lord, and thus he paraphrased some of the prayers of his wise wives. The word asatya indicates that the conditioned soul seizes upon impermanent and impure things, such as his own body, the bodies of others, and other countless varieties of material sense objects. The ultimate result of such material attachment is frustration, disappointment, and anguish, a fact that has now become crystal clear to the poor serpent, Kaliya. So do we all agree with that? The result of such material attachment is frustration, disappointment, and anguish. That fact became now clear to Kaliya. So we are meant to get eternal happiness without any break. The only way to get that is Yatma Supashidati. That's the last verse. Savaipam Saparodamo Yato Bhaktiadoxia. Ahait Kapatiyata Yatma Supashidati. The highest occupation for mankind is pure devotional service to the transcendental Lord, and that must have two qualities: that uninterrupted, and without material motive. That is what gives us this eternal happiness. When our devotion is unbreakable and our devotion is without cause, then we can get happiness like that. This is the only thing that can satisfy the soul. So that happiness we can get. We are on the path going in that direction. Let us not deviate from this path straight to Krishna. That's the straight. There's a path, the path straight to Krishna. We should not deviate from that. 57. Prayasistam idam vishvam tato guna visarjanam nanasvara vaviryayo yonabhiya sayakriti. O Supreme Creator, it is you who generate this universe composed of the variegated arrangement of the material modes, and in the process you manifest various kinds of personalities and species, varieties of sensory and physical strength, and varieties of mothers and fathers with variegated mentalities and forms. So why did Kaliya say that? That he must have some purpose here. We will find out in the next verse what he's getting at. It says, it's you, Krsna. You made this universe. So therefore, text 58, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, among all species within the material creation, we serpents are by nature always enraged, being thus deluded by your illusory energy, which is very difficult to give up. How can we possibly give it up on our own? So Krsna made the creation, he made the serpents, and he made the serpents that they are always angry. So is it Krishna's fault or is it Kaliya's fault? Whose fault is it? It's Kaliya's fault, yes. But he's saying, you made the creation and you made the snakes. Your illusion energy is difficult to give up. How can we possibly give it up on our own? So he's saying, you gave me this nature. I cannot go beyond it. I am forced to act as an angry snake. This is my problem. This is the problem I have. That's in the purport is explained what's beyond this prayer. Kaliya is indirectly begging for the Lord's mercy, realizing that on his own he can never become free from illusion and suffering. Only by surrendering to the Lord and obtaining his mercy can one be released from the painful conditions of material life. So now we see here, he's saying all this. You are in control. If you are merciful to me, then release me from that condition. So please be merciful unto me. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.